our past webinars in our archives on our website as well. And you'll get a recording of this after the meeting as well. We do have a chat going. Good morning to Wayne and Lori who have already joined that. Thank you. If you have any questions throughout, I will do my best to address those as we go. And there will be time at the end of the webinar today for Q&A if you have questions. But yeah, don't be shy. Feel free to join in that at any time. Hopefully by the end of today's webinar, you'll learn some practical techniques that use gamification and discuss how a hybrid learning approach might be something you can consider starting, or if you're already doing that, maintaining that to achieve your goals. So on that note, I'd like to start a chat on just that. So what are your challenges with training right now, or what area do you most want to improve or work on? Are you maybe returning to in-person training, or maybe you have already done that? So please add your comments or questions in the chat. We can start a dialogue. At the very least, maybe you feel like you're not alone. So yeah, again, we'll have some time at the end of the webinar if you're just joining us for some questions, but feel free to ask them throughout, and I will try to keep my eye on that chat as well. So I'll just allow like a minute or so if anyone wants to jump in with something that they're thinking about, what they want to most improve on, what their challenges are right now with training, etc. Engagement techniques, yes. Increase engagement, great. Yeah, we'll be talking a lot about that. If you're using games in your training right now, maybe we'll hit on some of those touch points as well. Almost always virtual, looking for ways to balance synchronous and asynchronous engagement. Awesome. Well, Heidi, hopefully you'll get something out of this. That's pretty much exactly what we're talking about today. Hybrid learning, we're blending those certainly. So mix of online and face-to-face. Cool. All right, well, thank you guys for your input there. So what exactly is hybrid learning? Maybe we're not all totally familiar with the exact definition of what it is. So I want to talk briefly about what this is, because, honestly, it does not look like it's going away anytime soon, pandemic or not. Hybrid learning combines conventional classroom experiences, observational learning objectives, and online courses to deliver that best learning environment for the student. So it's a hybrid of digital learning with analog or synchronous learning. And you may have heard this referred to as blended learning, which is very similar, but not exactly the same. In hybrid learning, students have the opportunity to choose what style suits them most, and they can select either online or classroom lectures or a mix of both. The difference is that hybrid learning tools are extensive. They include video conferencing, learning management systems, online exercises, online discussion forums, chats, groups, pre-recorded video instructions, etc., etc. Blended learning also combines in-person training with online resources, but less options and resource for the participant to choose their own adventure style. With many people switching to online learning, pretty abruptly in the last couple of years, we've started to understand the many benefits of digital learning with technology, and e-learning is now a staple of education. According to Spark & Company, 90% of corporations now use e-learning, compared to just 4% in 1995. And corporate e-learning is estimated to grow more than 250% by the year 2026. Makes activities more effective. Cool, Sharon. Thank you for that. 1995. I recently told my kids that I was older than the internet, and they didn't believe me. They thought I was joking, which is funny. There are many studies and statistics to show the effectiveness of online learning, but there will always be, people and situations that benefit from in-person interaction. So when we can offer and optimize both of these learning scenarios, we enrich that learning experience and many business metrics as a result, such as the engagement factor, knowledge, and talent retention. And every organization can take advantage of these opportunities without too many tools or, fancy applications. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. But many people prefer to, their freedom and privacy after our switch to remote working and learning. And hybrid styles allow people to have their independence, be an active owner of their learning experience. And hybrid learning is designed to meet the needs of all learners, regardless of their financial means. So it's accessible and it's affordable for people who can't commute long distances or maybe, pay for parking or flight fees. So in this way, offering these options is cost effective for the organization as well as the, independent. And this environment creates efficiencies for both the learner and the lecturer because it's very streamlined and it can be organized ahead of time with additional resources. So this also encourages the participants to manage their time wisely, stay on top of their game, and create some intrinsic motivation. And of course, because it's mobile and flexible, it can reach all of your participants' learning styles and offer an even playing field for everyone. So let's discuss a quick list of tips and to-dos for a hybrid learning environment. So one-way virtual sessions are just not enough anymore, like, when it's just a one-way dialogue or one-way lecture. And expectations are rising for a quality online learning experience that avoids that, 30 plus minute of lecture with no interactivity. As many of you know, adult learners can only listen with retention for 20 minutes at a time. And we need to be involved every 8 minutes, especially in a virtual environment. So interrupt the lecture with intentional activities, whether that be breakout sessions, group discussions, whiteboards, quizzes, or games, as long as people are getting involved. And many of these are free. They're apps or options within meeting platforms half of the time now, so you can start with what you have. This also motivates people through the very human driver called competition. So whether it's with others or themselves, it's a motivator, right? When we offer clear pathways for people to level up their skills and knowledge, we also show them opportunities for career growth and promotion, which will go a long way to retain your talent. And this may require you to flip the classroom a bit, provide an on-demand learning that's inverse to your in-person learning, meaning that most of the heavy lifting is done on the screen prior to or after the classroom. And this allows the instructor to be more efficient with their time in person by allowing much of the discussion to be remote with interaction as the consistent focus. This might look like worksheets, reading, videos, and a self-paced session followed up with discussion, breakout groups, interactive learning games. One key element here is making sure there's room for feedback. People want to know how they're doing, especially when they're learning independently. If you have the resources and tools all ready to deliver this via an LMS or other options, just make sure you're using them. Just make sure you're doing it. But keep in mind that one of the best benefits of hybrid learning is its flexibility, and everyone's learning path should be respected and represented. Not everyone will feel comfortable, for instance, coming into an in-person training event, even, when proper safety protocols are followed. So offering the choice can really bolster their feelings of safety with your company. And all of these practices can be achieved with interactive games that provide fun and engagement while delivering serious learning. Games provide the interactivity and a chance for them to apply their knowledge in a less threatening environment. And they can be used in all learning scenarios, whether that's a webinar like today, whether you're in a classroom, maybe back in person, face-to-face, or as an e-learning tool, certainly. So we are going to play a game. We are going to get you involved. And this is a game called Billionaire. It's one of the ones that we offer. And you're going to be in teams. I'm just going to automatically assign you into some. And this is, I'm going to mute that for just a minute. This is an effort to revisit what we just went over, right? So we are using this basically as a quick micro-learning, interactive learning element in part of our presentation today. So you will have two ways of joining this. You can get out your phone, go ahead and scan that QR code, open up your camera, point it at the QR code. It'll ask you if you want to join, and go ahead and submit your first name if you like. Or you can also copy and paste this link on the bottom into a browser. Any browser will do, with the exception of Internet Explorer. So if you're using that, my apologies. But you're just going to copy and paste that into a browser, and then it asks for a 4-digit code. That's 0016. Or, of course, use the QR code. I'm going to allow just a few minutes for people to get in who want to get in. You don't have to play, of course, but the invitation is to, interact, revisit, see if we can remember everything I just went over. All right, so for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and start this. That QR code is going to go away, but you can join at any time with the link on the bottom of the screen. So this is our version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So just a quick few questions here, as you can see, but they're supposed to get more difficult as we go along. There are helplines for you. So if and when you see them, there might be a 50-50 or ask an expert. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. There is a timer on, so points, you get less points as time goes on. We're going to revisit some concepts. Okay, true or false? Games can be used for both instructor-led or self-paced learning for a hybrid learning style. And I'm just watching this bar right over here to make sure everyone's had a chance to submit an answer. Points are going down, so I'm going to assume that we're probably good. Okay, 90% of us think that's true. That's great. And that is, of course, true. Well done. Here's my summary screen saying, yes, you can engage your team and deliver your content. So these are designed to reinforce, your content, so you can add context to why something is correct or incorrect, and really kind of extends that learning. Team Blue, well done. All right, next question. How would you best describe hybrid learning? And you'll see that these percentages are coming in live. This is an option that we have, but this is a great moment for you as an instructor. If you're, doing these live, certainly, and the timer's almost out. Okay, where you can start to see, if this were a serious learning question, you might be identifying some learning gaps right now. You might be going, I wonder why, most of the class thinks it's this answer, whatever that might be. So you're getting some immediate feedback as an instructor, and so are your learners, by the way. That was a polling question. So there wasn't really a true, one answer is better than the other. I hope no one got caught up by that, but it was more of an illustration of, where you can identify knowledge gaps if there are any. Okay, next question. This does have points. 90% of corporations now use e-learning compared to just 4% in 1995. True or false? Okay, timer is out. 70% of us think that is true. Well done. That was a quick little fact that we added early in. I just love that monkey banging on the laptop. All right, so next question, almost done. 2 questions left. Team Blue is pulling in the lead. Team Red, you can still do this. What are some of the benefits of hybrid learning? Select all that apply. And if you haven't used a helpline, there might be one available to you now. Okay, timer is out and the survey is in. And it is all of them. So well done, very good. And this is the slide that talked about that. So you can import a PowerPoint slide into any of these games. You're just going to export that as an image file, essentially. But you can use that to maybe review, like, hey, remember when we talked about this? So that's what that is. Last question, here we go. 500 points, timer is on. Mention this briefly. How long can adult learners listen with retention? We got some confident answers coming in. I like it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and advance. 60% of you think it was 20 minutes, and you are correct. Very, very good. No more than 20 minutes, so keep training modules to 90 minutes. Change the pace every 20 minutes. Involve people every 8 minutes. And according to our partners at the Bob Pike Group, if you're doing a webinar, interactions should be every 4 minutes to keep people engaged. Which is, it's a big call, but it's possible. So Team Blue, very well done. Good job. And if I click this, I can also identify my top scoring individuals. So very nice. And if I click my questions tab, I can also look at what was the most challenging question in that session. So as an instructor, you're getting some really good feedback right away of what you might need to revisit or remediate, what you might want to, if you have another session coming up, definitely go over that again. So yeah, good job, everybody. And we are going to get back into here and keep going. If you have any questions, again, feel free to, throw them in the chat. I will try to answer them as best I can as we go along here. So self-paced sessions, that e-learning part of this for sure. So with the popularity and the demand growing for self-paced learning or mobile learning or e-learning, it's become not just like a nice to have option, but kind of an imperative learning tool. It provides the robust learning environment people are looking for, as well as that opportunity for them to see a pathway for career advancement, because it's on-demand learning, right? If they can just use some of their spare time to access a learning module, great. And that's a super important consideration with the shrinking workforce and talent pool right now. Our latest blog is actually about using games for upskilling and reskilling, in fact, and addresses these issues head on. Can be found on our website, and it will be included for additional resource for you on our follow-up email. And even though self-paced learning is done solo and on our own time, essentially, it can still be interactive and engaging if we leverage the right tools at the right time. For instance, our clients have found a lot of success in this hybrid learning environment where they're going to combine some, live training sessions with instructor-led games to revisit something they just went over, kind of like what we just did, and with some self-paced learning. So pre and post sessions with, you guessed it, some more games or a follow-up quiz. And additional ideas for this might be to send out material or homework to your participants before a session with a self-paced quiz or even a game as a knowledge check-in, and then use the results to inform your next session. You can host your quiz or game in your own LMS. It's integrated via SCORM files. So You can add that to a learning module. You can assign that. They can access that easily for an interactive element during asynchronous learning. You can send out a quiz as a post-session wrap-up or a competency check just to see what they remember 2 days later, while also offering more resources for them to continue learning. And these modules work very well as a microlearning unit, as we mentioned earlier, where we harness the power of incremental learning with interactive games so you consolidate that long-term memory or retention. You know, the power of repetition there. Or maybe use it to keep your team connected by a fun monthly newsletter that encourages them to participate in it. This link for continued education that you see is also a suggestion that you can link your game right into your PowerPoint or whatever presentation tool you use for a seamless transition. And that link is actually something that you will receive after the webinar for more ideas on how to use this type of e-learning quiz. And in the goal of using a hybrid learning style, if you're using some interactive games during a live webinar or in a classroom setting, there are lots of applications for them beyond just a review tool at the very end of a session. So using them as a revisitor means we're using them in the microlearning approach, revisiting a small amount of information at a time, like we did earlier with our Billionaire game, and it's over spaced intervals, which can really boost that retention factor. They can be short, they can only last a few minutes, a little bit goes a long way. Make sure that we're following that 90-20-8 rule of engagement. Or maybe you have everyone play a game as an icebreaker or as a pre-assessment or knowledge check-in to start a session on a fun note. And this can even apply with situational learning, with a variety of ways to tell, show, and do through games, with visuals and lots of media options. So games can definitely be used for any kind of team building scenario, and your participants will still be learning along the way. In performance management is kind of the byproduct of using games for serious learning. We have reporting functions, you have easy analytics at your fingertips that show, the return on your investment in time and resources. And I think, the misconception maybe here is that they take so long to build and to learn. That's really not the case. And if you're interested in looking at a builder, please let us know. But speaking of analytics, one area that can be a challenge is that real-time feedback, especially if you're delivering training virtually like today, am I right? So people want to know how they're doing, they want to know how they're performing, where they are on a leaderboard, etc. Because we like competition when it's offered in a healthy way. Games can help us as the instructor to identify these knowledge gaps, kind of like we saw in the Billionaire game, and remediate in real time while people are having fun interacting with that content. Or it can talk with your LMS via SCORM files, so you can not only send out unique ways to teach and connect, but also get actionable feedback for more of those teachable moments. And integrating games into your training is great for soft skill development, professional development, your general compliance or review content based on its ability to be participant-centered. It can also be situational. It can be scaled with scenario training. Because the training is designed to be short and sweet, it can be easily accessed with devices such as, people's phones or their tablet, and keeps people mobile and flexible for that on-demand learning. And this allows your focus to be on performance gains and quality content while using games to deliver your information to an informal and safe learning environment. And by turning your content into fun and engaging interactive sessions, you can pull all learning styles into the mix, even while talking about, some dry or heavy or dense concepts. All of this helps prompt some positive behavior changes in behavior, and it can definitely improve your company culture. So to wrap everything up, we're going to dive into our last live interaction. It's called Tally, and this will be a general review of our session today. And I have hyperlinked it right into my knowledge recall right here. So this will be our other option for you to get in and interact if you'd like. And we're going to go ahead and turn off the default sounds here, and we're going to keep you individually playing. But you can see you have some options to make last minute tweaks or changes if you want. So if I wanted to, have you play in teams, I could have done that. Here's my intro screen, just telling you what it is. Your joining options are the same once again. So go ahead and scan the QR code or stick that link right into a browser. We'll allow a minute or two for everyone to get in who would like to get in. And we'll just do a quick review over everything we just went over. That was redundant. Over everything we just went over. Okay. Thank you for everyone who is joining. If you do have a question, you want to throw it into the chat, now might be a great time to do so. Otherwise, like I said, we will have time at the end. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, the QR code will go away. If you do want to still join, you can do so on the bottom with that link. We have a leaderboard going. This has an option to hide this leaderboard as well. So we might do that at some point. If that leaderboard goes away, that's intentional. We love to see where people are joining us from. Click on the map where you find yourself today. And then parentheses, this is an icebreaker example. Okay, great. People down in Florida, we actually just came back from the Training Magazine conference down there in Orlando. That was very nice to get out of the Arctic tundra up here in the north. In California, very nice. Texas, all over the place. It's fun to see where people are joining us from. So thank you for that. And then here's an example of the different missing Denmark on the map. Yes, I am sorry about that. Next time I'm going to put a globe up. That's a really good point. Thank you for joining us from Denmark. My goodness. But this is an example of using different types of media. So we have our YouTube video. We have lots of different tutorials that people can use if they don't feel like talking to a person. So this is one of them. So using the image map in Tally. And, I can play this, but we're going to mute that. Okay, it plays a quick YouTube video. We're going to continue. So here is a slide from the PowerPoint deck, right? This was my agenda slide. So you can, again, import your PowerPoint slide right into this. Use this as a presentation tool where you have your interactive elements baked right in. So maybe you follow your engagement factor and you want to do a few slides and then an interactive thing, a few more slides and another interactive thing. That's the invitation here. We talked about hybrid learning, what it is, on-demand, just-in-time learning, all of these things. And here's an image, a screenshot, essentially, of our builder, right? So this is how I can add my PowerPoint slide right into my builder and, go from there. Quick and easy, click of a button. All right, here's your first question. It's a polling question, so you can do a poll. This is going to revisit what we talked about in the very beginning. What do you most want to improve in your training this year? And there's no right or wrong answer for this, right? So this is a polling question. People can answer whatever they feel like answering. We're going to go ahead and hide this leaderboard. Get a little more real estate on the screen. Okay, so we have most of our in. We get a nice little graph over here with the donut. And most of you said engagement, right? So that follows what we were talking about, making presentation tools more interactive. Certainly, I mean, Listen, we're not trying to you know, be down on PowerPoint. We understand its effectiveness. It's very useful in a lot of situations. And I understand a lot of corporations make you use that. They don't give you an option not to. We're trying to give you other tools, other ideas of, how to do that. So cool. Some of you want to incorporate hybrid learning and flexibility. Did your answer change or stay the same? Just a thought. Okay. So we talked about this, right? Here's our slide again with our little stats. True or false? This is worth points now. On-demand or hybrid learning helps boost retention and promote active ownership of learning. Okay. And the survey says 100% think it's true. Yay. Good job. And here's just an image that we have, right? So I'm using this as a summary screen in a way, or a reinforcement of how easy it is to introduce your content, know what they know in real time, extend learning with summary screens. Okay, question number 2, bonus question, worth double the points. How many minutes into a session should you involve your participants? Timer's going down. All right. I think most of us, oh, no. All right. So that's a key point here. As an instructor, you do want to allow enough time for people. So if you are using a timer, make sure, especially in a virtual event where there might be a little bit of lag, that you're not leaving anyone behind. All right. 75% of us think it's C. And you would be correct. Very good. 8 minutes. Involve people every 8 minutes. Select all that apply. What are other ways to apply gamification? There's no helpline on this one. Sorry to say. But you got it. I know you all got it. Yeah, very good. All of that applies. You would be correct. And here is our slide that we talked about where, all the different applications for gamification, beyond as a review tool. Okay. This is a polling question, 0 points, but, would love to get your feedback. How confident do you feel to build something like this? And if you're a current user, I hope you are answering, I got this. And if you're not, let's talk. We can get some time together. Okay. All right. We got some okay. We got some pretty good. We got some I got this. And I will take that. That's awesome. So again, here is another video from our tutorials, talking about how easy it is to put questions into the editor. Here's our video. I do have the sound off, but you get the idea. This might be a really good way to use that situational training, right? Maybe you play a quick 2-minute video and then, go to your question and make that an assessment question of some kind. But we're going to not watch this video at the moment. Here's, this is actually a slide from another thing, but why should I use games? Well, it's fun at the purpose. You can connect the dots, easy to build and deploy. You get it. It does reach all learning styles. In a hybrid learning environment, that is important. Here's another slide. How can you stop the spread of cold and flu? So this is showing you where your participants are seeing a screen, they're interacting with their mobile device like you are right now. And as an instructor, you are getting those analytics right away from each session to kind of, inform how you're doing currently and where you might need to go next. All right. So now you have one more option to, if you want to enter a question here, you certainly can. If you'd like to enter a comment here, you certainly can. This is really just an example. This isn't our Q&A. This is more of an example of a way that you can use an open question format to get some feedback, maybe take a survey. Thank you, Carlene. Glad that you're here. Cool. Glad you got some ideas, Heidi. So you're seeing like some of these people, they kind of come up like a chat bubble almost. I'm glad you had fun, Sharon. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, guys. So yeah, so this is, you know, another option, basically, of a way for you to interact, even if you're remotely, with your participants. They can, and this counts as interaction, right? So if you are going through slide after slide and you give them the opportunity to just give some feedback real quick, guess what? That's interaction. That counts. That counts. All right, so here's the end. So again, I can look at my participants. Heidi, good job, Heidi. And then the questions, most challenging questions. Again, I'm getting some feedback right away of how this went. So the bonus question was maybe the toughest for people, and that might inform my next session, right? I might want to go back and look at that again if I have time to, or maybe I send out a quiz or a game, you know, to review that. So good job. Thank you so much. And that's it, basically it, folks. So if you do have questions, feel free to stick them right in the chat. Oh, Sharon, sorry I missed you. How does the helpline work? That's just for the Billionaire game. We don't have that for the Tally game, so you weren't missing anything if you didn't see it. But here's our contact information, and you will be getting a follow-up email. There's also a game or a quiz that will be involved in that email that will allow you to enter a chance to win a free license for 60 days. So be on the lookout for that if you would like to participate. But thank you all so much for being here. If you have, you know, a session coming up, a training session that you're curious how this all works, you're intrigued, we are happy to schedule some time with you for a quick consult and give you, you know, a quick demo if you want to try it out. We're happy to do that as well. We have a lot of information on our website where you can look at the services, the products, the pricing, our blog, past webinars, etc. So again, yeah, hey, thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm going to hang out for a few minutes. If you do have a question, feel free to put it right into the chat. Otherwise, the rest of you, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much for being here.